topic today can have many names and many things, features or aspects or values or volumes or multitudes or altitudes or longitudes. It is what perception makes it. It is how we communicate. It is how we relate to one another. It is broken down to a fact as if you go to the law of one, there are universal laws that can, once in a wakeful state, be perceived by the mass collective consciousness as and that is what is. And we learn from that. Meaning, things that we haven't looked at, we have an opportunity to learn from that. So understand, when you play the four-dimensional game, and a lot of people are, you could say, trapped in the illusion of the four-dimensional game of theoretical stuff they utter that never manifests. I'm saying that because I've seen prophets or so-called predictors or so-called psychics that before 2012 they predicted. Be very careful with predictions, because if you form absolutes, you are killing the possibility of an eventuality of all possibilities in moments of time. Quantum physics, the existence of the all and anything that can happen and everything that can happen, and leaving yourself open to that. So I listened to one which shall remain nameless, and she predicted that the stargates will open, people will be evacuated, that the sun is about to explode, and then Earth is under the evacuation plan, and everybody has to leave, and she knows where the stargates are, and this and that. And I look at this with, you talk about a lot of things that you can do and capacities that you can have, but you can't display them and you can't show them, and people sit there in awe. You're still in Theta, you're not in the manifesting the Delta, bringing it here. So I was like, well, where's the Stargate that you perceive? And there are things that you can perceive that are very real, that are very much here, and you need modalities and technicalities, and you need to study that in those to understand how to access these points. So first off, vortexes exist. These are interdimensional magnetic spinners. It has to do with ley lines that are electromagnetically, that are infrared, that are on many spectrums, measurable, that are very real, that are here. So in order, you can say there's two types of beings. One is the so-called predictor and the new agey, let's say phony, that claims it knows where all the vortexes are and where the energies are, will walk with you into the field. There's nothing for you to perceive, nothing for you to receive, and no resonance for you to tap into. But they claim they can connect to planet X and they get the download XYZ. Well, here's where we dabble, but we have no proof. And I will come to the conclusion what the proof can be as a possibility to anchor the knowledge that's being channeled, which I believe that some of us are gifted enough to bring that in. But I also believe that a lot of people that talk unrealistic things and measures that never take place, and you are in classes, you pay for the class, there's actually nothing for free, nothing is being shared, and there's no progress, and you don't see any progress. And you're in these classes, you get the tablets, you get whatever letters and activators and whatnot, and you have actually no physical proof or data that actually what you do or what's being done produces anything squat. And I'm here to analyze myself with the resonance of the people that watch my videos to find out the clues of creation. One of the clues for me to anchor reality in was like, okay, if I'm thinking about a concept of something that can help somebody, I'm basing it on science and scientific fact, and even what they call fringe science, but measurable, there's proof, you can look at it, things have an application, things have a workflow. But you have to also understand, if people don't have that, the trick they have with you is everything that's being watched more than 5 minutes, such as TV, has a, you can say, hypnotic influence. It can trap you, because when here's the trick how we get caught in our own addictions is, if a brain state in the body gets locked for more than 5 minutes, whether it's the phone, a mundane book that you're reading, a non-essential show that you're watching, and there's no blame, watch what you watch, but be aware, your brain begins to send a signal to release hormones that will relax you and will give you a sense of relaxation and you're coming back to yourself and to your body. You pay attention, and you kind of synchronize. So we have these addictions because we've forgotten from the ancient times, Atlantean times, Egyptian times, schools of mystery, schools of thought, really how do we anchor ourselves in and how do we synchronize again? If you do it right and just, you don't need a TV or a show that you could belittle or rumors that you create or fantasy figures that you develop that are not in real form. Or that you need to look up into the sky to talk to some entity that nobody can perceive, because that is actually separation. That's not creating a unified field. Also, when somebody says, well, I can talk to the center of the universe right now, and I'm standing before you, and then I regurgitate something with my mentalized mind, and don't underestimate the brain. The brain is a very creative potential, and I say the mind is a bullshit artist. The mind can think it knows, so that's where the trap begins. The new magic begins in feeling what you are giving to the people, not projecting what your weakness is, where you have problems, and where that goes. And the analogy that I have for that is when I was a rap entertainer, and I had crowds of 40,000 people that I performed in front of, so I know what that is if you are giving that access and how to attain that. But interestingly is, same thing as in the esoteric industry, when my rap skills were performed, I started writing lyrics when I was 15, and then around 24 I got crisp. I got really into my mastery of this is the good stuff. Then people out of nowhere approached me. They never heard of me because I had a certain amount of fame in Europe gathered. And they're like, you're so talented. First of all, that is BS, because there's no such thing as talent. What I did is, and it's the same thing that I'm doing with the metaphysical aspect. I'm not metaphysical because it's the trend. I've been reading books since I was 11. I had the fascination for the secrets of the universe and ancient cultures and mysteries and schools of mystery in Egypt since I can think, because my mom had that on the bookshelf. So I'm not a starseed because it's a trend right now. I'm not Arcturian because it's in to be Arcturian or Pleiadian. I more embody that signature and frequency that is unaltered and unchanged and undiluted to bring forth equipment to restructure and synchronize the existence on the planet, because I feel that is my mission. And I put everything that I have into it. Every little cent that I have, I turn around, I put it into what's next, what can I do? I'm working on an idea that probably will cost me a pretty penny, but I'm allowing myself to dream to build something that can heal riverbeds that are polluted. Running on crystalline energy, works with the sun, produces its own oxygen. It's my own invention, tested, it already works. Put it in a fish tank without putting the pump in there. Fish love it, pH level is regulated. So I have things that are tangible, that have a function, that I can bring in, that have a proof that whatever I bring from my theta mind state in a creative state of mind without being in conflict of self, bringing it through an interface which is called the manifest interface. Everybody has that, but it's not active in everybody. You know, sometimes the guru talks apples when your mind state is grapes. Well, you won't hear each other even if you have a screamathon, because he's in a grape state of mind and you're in an apple state of mind. Once we can meet that we're in a fruit state of mind, we have a universal conversation and a universal communication. People need to understand that. Also, when you watch cartoons like SpongeBob, what does SpongeBob resemble? He's the dude that takes the shit from everybody because he's a sponge. He takes it all on. Look at the guy. Every show you see the dude, he suffers. He's getting punished. He's trying to help everybody. People are being selfish around him. That is a perfect representation of society today, what we do to our people. And then we basically say, well, the government has the power, or the powers that be have the power, or the Anunnakis or the reptilians, and we take shit. You're no longer required to take shit. Pardon my French. You are required to be in a wakeful state to understand and see who you are, where you are, when you are, with the capacity of what you can do. And we got to get out of the, well, if you fast for, 40 days and 40 nights, then you see the angels and this and that. You know, I did none of that stuff, and I've seen elves, and I realized the concepts of elves. I'm not saying I'm the elven master, but I've seen these figures appear in front of me. They didn't shapeshift, they didn't change. I realized these are elementals, and the downloads I got was that these are elemental forces that work with plants, trees, naturally appearing in a form that we can understand, so we can interface with life forms and life force on the planet, which is, we are really highly sophisticated biodynamic super cyborg conscious entities that make contact in a magical realm, and we have forgotten that. So many come here and claim they know about fairies, they claim they know about UFOs, and they don't actually have hands-on experience. So the same thing as in rap. You can put me on a stage with thousands of people and I rock the house because I've developed the expertise that I can deliver lyrical styles at that measure, because I learned how to talk. I studied poetry, I studied rhyming dictionaries, I went deep into the jungle where no one would go to find lyrical and creative gems to bring forth creational forms of thought in form of a word wizardry without misleading the people, trying to stay in a wakeful state, which ultimately led to me losing the contract because I wasn't a gangster rapper. I was a metaphysical rapper, which is what I still am, and I'm still intending to produce a rap album to bring that back for those who haven't witnessed that timeline. But again, for what I do, it requires that I sit my ass down, shut up, and study. I cannot talk about multi-dimensions if I don't know mathematically what that means. If I can't explain in a cell structure or the cell membrane or the nucleus of a cell what a cell is, talking about the mitochondria and how they connected to Earth, if I don't have acquired the knowledge of scientists, and we should not say science is all wrong. They have many things that we need to actually create the things that we're doing, and we need to learn from that. Such as Da Vinci didn't get the Da Vinci Man from Da Vinci, he got it from somebody who lived 1,500 years before him, another mentor named Vitruvio. So there's always, everything has a father, everything has a mother. So we can go backtrace the knowledge, and have to understand there are things in the realm of what we call magic, and I call it manifest, and the laws of life, is that you have to study in order to acquire and attain the skill set. You will not attain DNA activation to be a better basketball player if somebody says, here, your DNA is activated, now shoot hoops. If you do not train your body in physical form, we're still in the physical dimension, to shoot hoops, and in 4 weeks you get better, and you take your team to the playoffs, then the actual fact remains that you're not doing it. We need to understand that in order to anchor all the fantastic knowledge that's being downloaded right now, we must do our part with diligence, being nimble, being swift, and with the utmost discipline to train our mind to have a clear thought and a clear communication and a universal platform where people can reach us and say, yeah, I can understand that, I can follow that, this has an impact on my life. Oh, now my house and the water that runs through my house runs much clearer. I have much more less calcification in my pipes. I feel much better. My animals feel better. Everything in my house shows me that there's a resonant feeling that this feels better. So when we learn to step away from our addictions and excusing ourselves why we need the coke, why we need the heroin, why we need the coke, why we need the meth, why we need this, that, and the other in order to synchronize ourselves and understand where we are, that's when the test begins. That's when you realize that is who I am, that is where I am, that is how I am, without lying to each other what we are. And it doesn't matter if you feel that you have any spiritual or interdimensional or ET aspect. How you carry that out on this planet is what's being measured by yourself. You are your own judgment day. You see for yourself, how do you resonate with people? How do they resonate with you? And how many things that you have on a platform that makes sense to people and gives them a sense of safety that you can do something to actually be their server. And that's called leadership. That's called being responsible. That's being called authentic and having your own integrity. Not asking anybody for anything and not needing nobody to validate anything for me. I need nobody to approach me to tell me what I need to do better. I have the opportunity, being thankful, to reflect on the comments that's being left in respect by the people that watch my show, so I can do my best to correct myself. And that's the way things should be, and we need to learn that respect, step back, reflect, and say, hey, thank you for letting me partake in this game. Thank you for sharing this with me. Namaste.